So hello. So this is a guide for not making a font. Trying to make a font and it's awful. So this is that adventure. And so who am I? I'm David Fitzgibbon. I do kind of creative development, davidfitz.dev, and then I'm starting this thing called Pixel Inc. Like Rudy was saying, every 2 years you kind of restart everything. So I was doing some stuff about 2 years ago, and now it's time to rebrand it and start everything from scratch. And I also like, for fun, watching movies, specifically Hitchcock. And specifically as well, what I want to talk about is the movie covers. So they all have these kind of cool paper cut fonts on them, where this guy, Saul Bass, would have actually snipped them out and put them in and put all the design together. And I was looking for some paper cut fonts and was finding these kinds of things, which are kind of there, but if you notice with the P's, they're identical. So those two P's are the same, those two P's are the same, and I wanted it to feel a bit more organic and cool. But unfortunately, fonts can't do that. It's not how they're designed, it's not how they work, they're a specific vector that's the same every time. So I thought, what if we didn't use a font to make a font? It's got to be easy, right? So let's do it the easy way. So imagine we wanted to do a letter I, we'd have a starting point and an ending point, and then just make it real thick. Job done. I hadn't thought about how to make it all paper cutty yet, and I was like, we want a better font, more detailed, so let's try and do like a full capital I, so you've got one line here, a line there, and a line there, and just flatten it up. Easy peasy. But then I thought, we need to do an actually difficult letter. So I tried the letter R, and it wasn't great. It didn't work, it wasn't going to be useful, and I wasn't going to be able to get the corners unless I started doing some crazy SDF-y kind of shader nonsense. So I thought, instead of doing it that easy way, let's do it the hard way. So this way, instead of trying to just do each line, we do the whole outline. So I'd have one line where we start at a point, go all the way around the outside, and then finish. But then we've also got this inside shape, so we need a second one to do the inside. And I just need to do that for every letter in the alphabet, cut it all out, and then you end up with this chunk of data, Data-Vis, that gets you a whole font, and it keeps on going and going. And is there any indicator for where? Oh, there's the end. So what I did with those points to try and get the jankiness, so this would say like the top of that or, and 2 example points ready to demonstrate. So I imagined a little circle around them, and then in that circle I pick a random vector of a random length to point of where that point might go, and then when you move the point over, you get some jankiness. Just do that for every point, for every letter. You end up with this kind of thing. So, where's my thing gone? So I can go, hello. And it all works, so I went to the effort of putting in like,
oh shit,
extra little bits and bobs, because I was looking for random text to test it with, and I kept on just dumping up the code I was using to write it, and that was breaking, so that was kind of frustrating.
Did you only put in the letters that you did there? That looked like those are selectively.
So, I did it all in Web Technologies, so this little code pen loads up. So yeah, font design to look like it lives on a Saul Bass poster, but good God, the accessibility is horrible, don't use it. So if we bump this up a bit, so I ended up making it, I started in Svelte and then ripped it all out and tried to make it a web component. So you can see then here, so web components like your own little HTML element, and it's got different parameters you can put in. So this is the one for this one at the top, so I can change this to like, oops, don't delete everything. I can change it to pizza. And then it updates. And you can like play with the letter spacing, so I could move the letters further apart. The word spacing as well, we can change the size, we can make it bigger. And then the fun part is the variation, so this is how wiggly it gets. So if I put it to 0, oh no, that is 0, 3, yeah. So now it's like a real set. Not that exciting thing, but if you put it to maybe, let's try 90, this will just be broken. So it lets you kind of, what were we at, like 20 or something? So for the smaller font here, I made it only a variation of 7, so it was easier to read. And the handy thing in the background, because I made all of this with SVGs, this isn't getting too technical, so why isn't that selected nicely? Yeah, so it's all a big SVG, and if we look at these little ones, it's just a load of SVGs with a little margin on them, which means
I know where it's going. I know where it's going.
we can play with CSS and put in different like line heights. So if you make that, I don't know, 8, just trying to think of something dramatic. Then it all gets spaced apart. We can play with the color. We can make it purple. So we have little CSS powers of it. And I do have a little bit of accessibility in there. So like if people are using screen readers, they'll be able to actually, because usually an SVG will come out being read out. So you're just going to get like all the path read out, and the paths are just these big chunks of numbers. So I have a little paragraph tag in here that is the actual text that you're looking for, so screen readers will read it out nicely, and everybody's happy, but I haven't tested it thoroughly, so good God, don't use it. And how do I get back? There we go. So yes, that was the font that's been used all the way through. And I'm setting up this thing, Pixelink. I'm going to try and do like creative coding kind of challenges and interview people and stuff on the YouTubes. So if you want to go to Pixelink Club or Blue Sky, there'll be updates there as well. And any questions or wonderings?
You're a master of animation in GSAP as well, and they've recently open sourced their, well, they were bought out by, who bought them again? Someone big bought them.
Webflow?
Yeah, that was it. Webflow bought them, so you don't have to pay for the SVG morphing stuff. So seeing as these are SVGs, you could actually go from pure circles, each one morphing into those words and stuff like that.
That is very cool.
That'd be something really cool
Yeah.
to think about.
I hadn't thought of this.
That kind of those kind of morph. I used that kind of morph SVG before, and it's like magic.
Or you can have like the blinking cursor, and if you type a letter, it like boops.
Yeah, I'm also thinking about individual letters going when you're going from like whatever the word was. I'm calling it eccentricity of 3. Imagine it being mapped to a scale, and it's like morphing as you're doing that. It would be super cool. But it's so amazing. Anyway.
That would be very fun. I'm not have to mess with that.
Yeah, just created a monster.
Anything else?
Why is it so quiet?